everyone. This is some infamous footage from Diddy's white party back in 2009. What was supposed to be a glamorous event takes a weird turn here with some pretty disturbing stuff going on. It's wild to see what really went down at these parties behind all the glitz and glam.
Hello, so listen up, because 50 Cent just dropped a bombshell so explosive it has Hollywood shaking to its core. He's not talking about just another rap beef or shady deal. He's pulling the curtain back on a secret list of A-list celebrities who allegedly got infected with STDs at Diddy's notorious parties. And let me tell you, these aren't minor names you can brush off. We're talking about some of the biggest stars on the planet. The same ones dominating your TV screens, award shows, and magazine covers. This isn't just messy gossip or wild speculation floating around the blogs. Insiders say there's real evidence circling behind the scenes, evidence that could shatter reputations and torch entire careers overnight.
Party on the bed. Hey, mama said don't jump on the bed. We jumping.
Hollywood's elite are scrambling, and the whispers are only getting louder. The shockwaves from this could hit harder than anything we've seen in years. And here's the thing. You've already seen headlines about Diddy's legal battles and the lawsuits piling up. But trust me, those stories are just the tip of the iceberg. What we're dealing with here goes way deeper than any party scandal. We're talking about possible federal investigations, hidden cover-ups, and behavior so reckless it blurs the line between celebrity excess and criminal activity. Stick around because in this video, you're going to hear the names being whispered in Hollywood's dark corners, names that will absolutely shock you. And once they come out, nothing in the industry will ever be the same again. Second, you're going to see the actual evidence that backs up these insane claims, receipts that make it impossible to call this just gossip. And third, I'll break down exactly why Hollywood's elite are in full-blown panic mode right now, scrambling to keep their names off that list before it explodes into the mainstream. But here's the key part. The most shocking revelations come at the very end of this video. Do not dare click away, because what I reveal in those final minutes will forever change how you look at these celebrities and the world they move in. But before I start dropping names, you need to understand exactly what Diddy's parties were really about. Because when I first heard the details, I thought it had to be exaggerated. But the deeper you dig, the more twisted it gets. These weren't just Hollywood parties. They were carefully designed stages, and each one had its own level of secrecy and intensity. Here's the breakdown.
Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, Robert Kelly, Sean Combs have one person in common, professionally and privately. Sean Carter, Diddy, and Jay-Z are monsters.
There were three main types of parties Diddy threw, and each tier escalated in ways that would shock anyone on the outside. The first type? The public-facing, so-called normal parties. These were the ones everyone knew about. The legendary all-white parties that became iconic in pop culture.
Woke up over 20. See, this is the problem that I have with women like J-Lo, with women like Mary J. Blige, with trash pots like your Sexy Reds and your Young Miamis. All of these women know exactly what was happening. All of these women knew exactly what kind of monster he is. All of these women witnessed him be terrible to not just them, but to other women, and let that operate.
On the surface, they looked like glamorous Hollywood get-togethers, full of flashing cameras, designer outfits, and celebrities posing for photo ops with champagne in their hands. Everyone smiling, everyone pretending it was just good vibes and luxury living. But what the cameras didn't show? These innocent parties were just the entry level. The front door into something far darker and way more dangerous that happened once the public lights went out. Now, the second type of party was known in Hollywood circles as the freak-offs, and this is where things get twisted beyond belief.
He was asked to do something that he didn't want to do.
Yo, obviously, so was Jigga, so was Will Smith. Will Smith was first. Yo, so Diddy's locked up because why? He got the tapes and they don't want the tapes to come up.
Picture this. Allegedly, inside Diddy's mansions, there were massive white beds set up. Not regular beds, but beds the size of a tennis court. These weren't for decoration. They were the centerpiece, the stage where wild, anything-goes chaos played out for anyone brave or reckless enough to take part. I dug into this, and I actually found some disturbing footage online while researching.
Right?
Yeah.
I know you've been heavy on social media talking about it.
He did it. And I'm the only one who's been vocal about this long before it actually. But I also didn't participate. I also didn't go to those parties.
Yeah.
So a lot of the celebrity culture that you don't hear saying anything is because they participate.
You can clearly see people dancing and moving on one of these giant beds, bodies everywhere. The energy completely out of control. Their faces are blurred or hidden, so you can't identify who they are, but you can feel it. Something about the vibe is off, unnatural, almost ritual-like. This wasn't just a party, it was a performance, and not the kind meant for the public eye. But here's where the rabbit hole takes a sharp, terrifying turn. The third type of parties. These weren't open to the industry crowd at all. These allegedly only allowed a select few into the room, the most powerful insiders, the ones Diddy trusted, or the ones who had the most to lose. And according to whispers, these private gatherings mirrored the same kind of sinister energy as the Epstein situations. And if you know, you know. It's so dark, so controversial, that I can't even show you the clips connected to this part here on YouTube. What's been described makes the freak-offs look tame, and that's saying a lot. For years, Diddy wasn't just another star. He was one of the most powerful figures in the entire music industry. His reach was global, his image spotless, and his famous private parties were seen as the ultimate ticket into Hollywood's inner circle. But now the truth is unraveling, and it's ugly. People are stepping forward saying those gatherings weren't normal parties at all. They were something far darker. Behind the glitz and glamour, disturbing things were happening, and the stories coming out now are painting a terrifying picture. Allegedly, guests weren't just living reckless. Some were put directly in danger. The environment was chaotic, secretive, and poorly controlled, to the point where people say attendees walked away with more than just hangovers. The whispers now claim many contracted STDs because safety measures were practically non-existent. And this right here is why 50 Cent is stepping into the spotlight, exposing what he calls a medical scandal with the power to rock the industry to its core. He's putting names to the rumors, calling out who got caught up. And if the whispers are true, no PR spin in the world can save them. But here's where it gets even crazier. 50 isn't standing alone in this. Multiple industry insiders are co-signing the same story. Orlando Brown and Jaguar Wright have both made jaw-dropping claims, saying this scandal doesn't involve a few people. It involves over 20 celebrities. And when I say explosive, I mean claims so heavy they could obliterate reputations, destroy careers, and flip Hollywood upside down overnight. Jaguar Wright didn't just speak. She detonated a verbal bomb that shook the entire conversation to its core. She made statements so bold they gave me chills the first time I heard them. She flat out said, and I quote, "I could rattle off 20 names right now of celebrities who are allegedly living with HIV. That's not some vague whisper. That's a direct shot at some of the most powerful people in Hollywood. But here's the part that really made my jaw drop." Wright claimed, "Nobody would be able to sue me for saying this." Now think about that for a second. Why would she be so confident that not a single superstar could drag her into court? That kind of confidence suggests one thing. She might actually be sitting on real proof, real receipts that could flip this entire industry upside down. And it gets darker. Wright didn't just stop at names. She dug into the disturbing details. She claimed many of these celebrities are living what's called undetectable, meaning they have an undetectable viral load from HIV. But here's the scandal. She says some of them aren't disclosing their status, moving recklessly, and putting others at risk. That revelation alone is enough to send shockwaves across the entertainment world. But Jaguar wasn't finished. She called out women directly, naming J.Lo, Mary J. Blige, Sexy Red, and Young Miami, accusing them of allegedly knowing about Diddy's twisted actions for decades and still choosing to cash in on his power, protection, and money. That accusation painted them not just as bystanders, but as beneficiaries of a toxic empire. Now here it is.
Yeah, I love this drink.
Where you put my
Chance with you.
bag
I like
at?
when you like this, Daddy.
Yeah, where you put my bag
Daddy,
at?
I like when you
It's right here,
scrambling
it's
and
right
scraping for
here.
shit.
No, I got
I
notes
like
and
that.
shit. You know, I've been practicing.
And it seems like a thing.
I
with
miss
this
partying
birthday
with
party,
Puff, man. I
Man,
miss
but I'm
partying
talking about
with
for your birthday.
Huh?
Why won't you party with me for your birthday, man?
Yeah, we partied for my birthday before. You came to my party. And
No, but me and you ain't never really partied. Gary Gray. You know, I'm a type of nigga, I like variety, man. I like people that's unpredictable. You know what I'm saying? I like different personalities. So I was like, I never knew they would become what they are today. But
The names that have Hollywood whispering in panic: Will Smith, Meek Mill, Usher, Justin Bieber, and Kevin Hart. These aren't background names. These are front-page, blockbuster-level stars. The same faces dominating your screens, your playlists, and your headlines. Hearing them tied to this alleged scandal has sent shockwaves through the entire industry. And let me stress this. These aren't just reckless rumors being tossed around by bitter ex-friends or anonymous trolls. These are calculated revelations being made by people who've lived in the industry for years, insiders with too much knowledge to just be dismissed. In Hollywood, knowing this level of truth can literally get people silenced. So the fact that they're speaking out at all tells you just how serious this might be. Now let's talk about Craig Mack, because his story is the perfect example of the alleged pattern happening inside Diddy's circle. Craig Mack, a talented rapper who was signed to Bad Boy Records, tragically died from AIDS-related complications. But according to Jaguar Wright, what happened to him wasn't just bad luck. She claims Craig Mack was manipulated, brainwashed, and ultimately left to suffer after being chewed up and spit out by Diddy's machine. This isn't just about one man's downfall. It's about a cycle of destruction that insiders say has been repeated again and again. If what Jaguar and others are saying is true, Craig Mack's tragedy wasn't an isolated event. It was part of a disturbing blueprint inside Bad Boy's empire. Here's what really gets me heated about this whole situation. When Craig Mack became inconvenient to the label, Diddy allegedly didn't just drop him from a record deal. He left him hanging, broken, desperate, and sick. That's the ugliest part. This wasn't just about music contracts or business decisions. This shows how these powerful industry giants allegedly treat artists once they've drained every ounce of value from them. They don't care about their health, their well-being, or even their lives. Once you're no longer useful, you're discarded like trash, while they move on to the next star they can exploit. And here's where the pattern becomes impossible to ignore. Look around. Have you noticed how certain celebrities are suddenly wiping their social media pages clean, deleting posts, and going completely silent whenever Diddy's name comes up? That's not coincidence. That's fear. They know federal eyes are watching, investigations are underway, and their names could be exposed any day now. Silence is their only defense, and the panic behind the scenes is real. So let's get into it, because this story isn't running on gossip anymore. There's actual evidence in play. Real, physical evidence that federal investigators have collected. Documents, records, maybe even videos. Proof that could blow the lid off everything we've been hearing. And once this comes to light, no amount of power, no amount of money, and no industry spin team will be able to cover it up. Federal agents didn't just knock on the door. They swarmed Diddy's multiple properties with massive raids, the kind you only see when the government knows something serious is going down. And when I say massive, I mean this wasn't about looking for party supplies or paperwork. What investigators uncovered was described in court filings as literal mountains of evidence. The scale of what they found is almost too much to wrap your head around. Here is one detail that absolutely floored me, and it is right there in the court documents. Agents seized over 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant from Diddy's homes. Yes, you heard that right. 1,000. Let that number sink in. But here is the part that flips this story from bizarre to disturbing. Investigators claim these items were directly tied to the infamous freak-offs. These weren't random objects sitting on shelves. They were props for elaborate performances that Diddy allegedly arranged, directed, and, this is the kicker, electronically recorded. Think about what that means. Not only did these events allegedly happen, but according to investigators, they were documented on video. That means there's footage, hard evidence, of everything that went down inside those walls. If even a fraction of that leaks, the fallout will be catastrophic, and names bigger than anyone realizes could be exposed. And here's where 50 Cent storms into the picture. Through his company, G-Unit Film and Television, he's co-directing a brand new Netflix documentary series digging deep into this scandal. He is not just commenting on the sidelines. He is putting Hollywood's darkest secrets on blast for the entire world to see. When this documentary drops, it could flip the industry on its head forever. 50 Cent isn't playing games. He is teaming up with director Alexandria Stapleton on a Netflix documentary that could blow the lid off one of the darkest scandals Hollywood has ever seen. The project is tentatively titled, Did He Do It? And the title alone is a direct shot at Diddy. This documentary is set to dig into every corner of the allegations from sexual assault to racketeering, and we are not talking about a few years of rumors. We are re-talking decades of accusations finally being pieced together. And here's the chilling part. A lot of those celebrity voices you don't hear speaking up. The silence might not be loyalty. It might be fear. Because some of them allegedly participated in the very same parties and situations being exposed. Their silence is protection, not just for Diddy, but for themselves. 50 described the project with one unforgettable metaphor. He said the documentary is like an octopus, because every time they think they've got all the accusations on the table, new ones reach out from the shadows. More victims come forward, more names get pulled in, and the picture just keeps getting bigger and darker. But get this, 50 also claims there are powerful figures in the industry actively trying to stop the documentary from ever seeing the light of day. That alone tells you how dangerous the truth inside this project must be. Netflix locked down the rights back in September 2024. But months later, there's still no official release date. That delay is no coincidence. Something or someone is trying to keep it buried. For years, people brushed off 50 Cent's warnings, calling him a hater or saying he was just stirring up drama. But with everything that's come to light, the raids, the receipts, the silence, and the sheer weight of these accusations, it looks like 50 wasn't just stirring trouble. He was calling the play before anyone else could see it, and now the whole world is catching up. 50 Cent has never been shy about saying he felt uncomfortable at Diddy's infamous parties, and the way he described it still raises eyebrows to this day. He talked about getting hugs from both the front and the back at the same time, and he made it clear, this ain't my kind of party. Looking back now, it seems like 50 Cent might have seen something behind the scenes that made him distance himself early, and his instincts might have saved him from getting caught up in the madness. But it wasn't just 50. Even Fab had an unsettling experience that he couldn't ignore. He once shared a story about attending one of Diddy's wild gatherings, and it was clear he felt out of place by what was going down, especially around that infamous giant white bed. During an appearance on the Drink Champs podcast, things got even stranger. Diddy himself confronted Fabulous on camera about not partying with him the way he expected, and the moment was so awkward you could feel the tension through the screen. Viewers noticed how visibly uneasy Fab looked in that exchange. His timid body language, his nervous laughter, it was obvious something was off. That clip sparked endless speculation online, with people asking what he might have witnessed at those gatherings that made him so hesitant to ever embrace Diddy's version of fun. And just when you think it can't get darker, enter the YK Osiris situation, which takes these disturbing allegations to a whole new level. YK Osiris had one of the most disturbing breakdowns we've seen on Instagram Live, opening up about his feelings of isolation, depression, and total distress. And almost instantly, rumors started swirling, with fans pointing fingers at Diddy. The whispers that Diddy was allegedly grooming Osiris, especially after word spread that Osiris had taken a trip to Jamaica at the very same time Diddy was there. People started connecting dots, linking Osiris sudden mental health spiral, and reported substance abuse issues to a larger pattern. The same alleged pattern of Diddy's involvement with young men in the industry. Now, Osiris himself later denied having any romantic relationship with Diddy, insisting that he was in Jamaica with his own woman. But let's be real. The denial didn't erase the unease. The video of him unraveling left fans convinced there was way more going on than he was willing to admit. Some even believe Osiris may have been trying to salvage his crumbling career by cozying up to Diddy, especially after the scandal where he was caught on camera forcibly kissing someone, a move that nearly destroyed his reputation. And this is where everything ties back together. The so-called medical list that 50 Cent has been teasing isn't just messy celebrity gossip you can scroll past. No, if this list makes it into his upcoming Netflix documentary, it could be the smoking gun, the piece of evidence that rips the mask off Hollywood's most dangerous and well-guarded secret. So now I'll leave it to you. What do you think about these explosive claims? Do you believe 50 Cent DS documentary will finally pull back the curtain and reveal just how deep this goes? Drop your thoughts in the comments, share this video with your people, and make sure you're subscribed. Because when this story blows wide open, you're not going to want to miss what comes next.